Well, I got new jerseys today. These are not the ones that I ordered through Full Moon jerseys. Of course, those ones are seemingly lost and gone. I got this one, and I got my Bruins Winter Classic from 2010, which I'll be sporting in another video later. So Randy Carlyle comes out today and says at a news conference, in tongue-in-cheek, I have nothing to do with the 4 previous failures in Game 7. And my ears went, wait, what? Okay. Under Randy Carlyle, the Toronto Maple Leafs had a massive Game 7 meltdown. I won't relive it for Toronto fans, I know. But under Randy Carlyle in 2009, the Anaheim Ducks lost a Game 7. I thought it was weird. And I think Todd McLellan versus Randy Carlyle is an interesting dynamic. I like McLellan. I like the way he handles himself in interviews. He's no nonsense. And Carlyle, it sort of feels like when you're watching him, sometimes you're like, what's his game here? Is he playing mind games with the opposition or with his own team? Or McLellan? The media? Carlyle was a strange hire by the Ducks anyways. In that there's kind of a been there, done that with Carlyle. And he's a decent coach. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but to say I have nothing to do with their previous Game 7 history is odd. Because he does. And then, the guys on Sportsnet bought it. They're like, oh, well, yeah, this team, he's just saying he hasn't coached this team, this core. Perry and Getzlaf were still there. 2009 was 8 years ago. That's not like a forever. Now, that Game 7, from what I read, I'm pretty sure it was on the road against Detroit. Let me just take a quick look here. And that year they had 91 points. Yeah, let's see. Who's still there? Yeah, Perry and Getzlaf. They were the top 2 scorers that year. I mean, everybody else has changed. And I get where he's coming from, but it seemed like such an odd statement to make. They have shootouts and skater advanced statistics and blah, 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 blah. But it's so strange to me. Yeah, they were second in the Pacific that year. And they lost in the second round to the Detroit Red Wings, who were first in the Central that year. 112 points. So, I guess maybe Carlisle's saying, well, when I lost a Game 7, it was on the road. Maybe? But, again, is he kind of throwing the team under the bus? Is this like, if the Oilers beat him in Game 7, is he going to be going, oh, well, this is my first? And then we have to tap him on the shoulder and go, actually, Randy, it's your third. Because you failed in Game 7 in 2009 with the Ducks, and then you failed in Game 7 with the Leafs. You can't say this isn't on me without a prick like me looking up statistics from the past and going, okay, fine, so the 0-4 record over the last 4 years in Game 7s isn't on Randy. He's got something to do with previous history. I'm sure he enjoys his Stanley Cup ring from 2007, so if he wears that, he has to wear that loss in 2009. The smartest thing to say would have been, I understand the Ducks have had previous issues with Game 7s, but you know what? We don't care what game it is. We're going to get prepared the same way as we always do. And as far as I'm concerned, I look at that dressing room, and this is a new group of guys. And, you learn. You learn and you break through. And we believe we're breaking through in Game 7. The game's at home. That's where we want it. We don't care about what happened before. We're winning the game. I don't even mention. Well, that wasn't me. Because if I walk into a room with 4 kids, my son and Yvonne's 3 kids, and there's a giant mess in the middle of the floor, and one kid jumps up and says, "It wasn't me. It was them." So for Carlyle to come out with the, "Well, it wasn't me," while McLellan is saying all the right things. Maybe that's the part that's weird here. Maybe the dynamic is the fact that Todd McLellan, as coach of the Oilers, is saying all the right things at all the right times. And Randy Carlyle is Randy Carlyle. Good coach. I thought when the Leafs fired him that it was an iffy timing. I get why they did it. You know, their ultimate goal was Babcock. That was always the goal in Toronto, was Babcock. Which I didn't think was going to happen until it happened. But, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting looking at the Ducks' history, and I went over that in a Game 7 video the other day, and we've discussed their Game 7 history. I guess the thing for me is, when I watch the Capitals, I'm going to bring up the Capitals here. So the Capitals are playing the Penguins tonight. A lot of the times when I see the Capitals lose, they beat themselves. Something happens and you go, man, if they had just... A lot of the times with the Ducks, they just flat out get beat. Like, the difference is when the Ducks lose that game, whichever game it is over the last 4 years, I look at it and say, well, this is just how it is. Like, okay, let's look over the last 4. Last year, the Nashville Predators beat the Ducks 2-1. Colin Wilson, Paul Gaustad score in the first period. Pekka Rinne makes 36 saves. So Rinne stole that one. The Blackhawks beat the Ducks in 2015, 5-3. Taves scored twice in the first period for the Blackhawks. And the Ducks allowed 5 goals in games 6 and 7. So they just got beat. 2014, Bruce Boudreau opts to start 20-year-old John Gibson rather than Jonas Hiller. Now, in retrospect, that looks bad. But Jonas Hiller was not playing well. Jonas Hiller was not a great goaltender. Am I right, Calgary fans? So they say in the move backfires, Gibson allowed 4 goals in a little more than a period, and Hiller gave up another in the second, and the Kings won that game 6-2. And then in 2013, Francois Beauchemin got the Ducks within a goal when he scored in the power play with 3:17 left, but they failed to score the tying goal and lose the series, concluding Bruce Boudreau's first full season as coach. That was a 3-2 win for Detroit. So they've lost to Detroit. Detroit, you know, a franchise that right up here in terms of championship caliber up until about 2013. 2014, they lose to the Kings. Well, the Kings went on a hell of a run that year. 2015, they lose to the Hawks. Same thing. 2016, they lose to the Predators. Predators got stopped in the next round by San Jose, and San Jose went to the finals. It is not a matter of the Ducks being a bad playoff team, and I think that's kind of how this plays. And I can understand Ducks fans being both frustrated with the losses in Game 7 and being pissed off at being disregarded by fans everywhere. Because what I've heard a lot of since, you know, Edmonton won that game is, oh, the Ducks are done. And they're not. And I say that as a guy who does not in any way, shape, or form cheer for the Ducks. They're not done. And when you consider, I'm talking about it right now on TSN, when you consider the Oilers being a young team and learning, I could see the Ducks winning this game and this being an experience that the Oilers build on for next year towards getting to a Stanley Cup. But let me know what you guys think about Carlyle's comments and the juxtaposition between McLellan and Carlyle, because to me, one's been a very professional, smart coach and said all the right things to the media, and the other one's Randy Carlyle. So let me know what you guys think. And hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through as we cruise up towards that 5,000 mark and beyond. And thank you very much for watching. I'll be talking to you all again soon.